So we're talking about times when I got stuck, and we're talking about some of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my own journey to being, the person I am today. One of my most significant crazy mistakes is that we realized that we needed to shift Silver Lining from a consulting model to a tech model, to a software model. And that, of course, meant we had to build technology. And I didn't know anything about building technology. And so I just blindly hired someone that I sort of knew. I gave them an extraordinary amount of money to build our technology. And instead of, figuring out enough to really vet this person, to really vet the product, using my own brain in the way that I know is capable, I kind of just said, you know what, I don't know this, so I'm going to hire someone else and put them in charge. The end result of that, the short version of a very long story, is that we essentially threw out hundreds of thousands of dollars of code. It didn't work. It wasn't what we needed. And ultimately, when we really built it the right way, I was much more involved. I had a vision for it. I did some of the quality control around how it was created. And it was better, and it was right, and it was way cheaper. And so I learned this very, very, very expensive lesson that I wouldn't wish on anyone else. But again, I got stuck in my own lack of confidence or my own fear that I didn't know enough about this thing that felt scary to me. And so I just removed myself from it. I just assumed that I would hire someone else who's better at it, and I would leave it to them. Now, you know that I believe in eliminate and delegate and don't do everything yourself. But it's also true that when you're taking your business down a significant strategic shift and you're spending significant amounts of money, you can't do that glibly. And that is that's a mistake that I made. I was making these significant changes to my business model, spending a ton of money, and kind of removing myself from the equation because it wasn't something that I fully understood. And so again, I got stuck, right? I made a mistake. I got stuck. I felt embarrassed. I didn't know how to solve the problem. And like I keep saying over and over and over again, the solution to getting unstuck was when I started to talk to other people about it. When I realized I don't have to be alone in my journey. There's a lot of non-technical founders who figure out how to build technology products. There's a lot of ways to learn really easily online, just enough to make better decisions. And so I, again, had to keep going through this journey that I'm sure I'll continue my whole life, which is that, the balance of being responsible but not doing everything myself, the balance of being independent but staying connected and asking for help, the balance of taking big risk but doing it in a way that's thoughtful and, organized and smart. This balance of all of these things has been part of my journey. And, I look back on some of these massive mistakes, just really, really bad decisions that I've made and big losses that have come with it. But in those moments, in those mistakes is where I've learned my greatest lessons and really been given my greatest gifts. And so just know, if you feel stuck, if you're making big strategic decisions that you don't feel equipped to make, you're not alone. But talk to other people. Don't do it alone.